All right, we're recording. Do it.
Okay. Okay.
The stage right.
It's kicking in. Okay. Overall, I really, genuinely, thoroughly, any other synonym, really loved this book. I think it was way too fucking long. I 1,000 pages plus is pushing it. It gets like really, really heavy. Even if the book is the best book in the entire world, because this was the best book in the entire
It
world,
could have
but
easily
it was
been
just
two
fucking
long
heavy.
books.
It was
It would
just
have
so
been
heavy.
two, even if it was half, it would still be long books. He could have easily just done that,
Yeah.
and it would have been more
And I
digestible.
took a photo. I went to the bookstore the other day, and I took a photo of like the rest of the books, equally as long. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I hear.
but overall, I just like really, really enjoyed it. I had always wondered about the Perendish.
Yeah, I can't remember their name now that you're pronouncing it so badly, but it's definitely not that.
Okay, well, without offending anybody, I always was curious about the Perendi. Like when they would talk about them and they would do stuff.
Parshendi. There you go.
Parshendi. I was close. Okay. The Parshendi. I was genuinely curious, and I was just like, where do these people come from? Like, I understand these factions and these like things. I was like, but why are we like just ignoring the Parshendi other than in the context of like they're the slaves, they have weird things and they're fighting them. You know what I mean? In like certain ways. I was like, oh, okay, like that's kind of weird, like whatever. And then they started to describe the way they look too, I think later towards the book. They might have described it earlier in the book and I just didn't remember, but I remember distinctly when Shahida, I'm making up names at this point. Colin made the connection that like, oh wait, like the Voidbringers are the Parshendi. I was just like, oh wait,
sure.
like yeah, like that makes sense. Like I was like, yeah, like I see that. I forget every single, and you know what? Side note, as I usually do, I was like, I'm gonna be better about like book clubbing. I'm gonna like really come out with my thoughts in a cohesive manner. Absolutely not. Anyways, that's never happened.
You could write them down. That would be crazy
Ew.
though. Yeah. Sorry.
What would that make me into? I mean, I could. No. Anyways, okay. So overall, my favorite character of the entire book, and if we just had an entire book on him, I would be totally fine, is Kaladin. I love Kaladin. I love Kaladin's character. I love his backstory. I love where he's going. I love where he is. Like, I love Kaladin. I just think he is, like, in general, one of, like, the best characters I've ever read in terms of, like, a well-rounded character. I think it's just, like, so interesting. And his characteristics and the way he talks to other people and just, like, who he is as a person, I constantly forget that he's, like, 22 years old. It slips my mind every single fucking time. He's a kid. Like he's a fucking kid. But that is and has been my favorite part of this book. And like his journey and figuring it out. Like him coming to the two kings and saving the king and all of that. Like I have just loved that so much. And I think a lot of my love for this book comes from just the storyline of Kaladin and his army and the people like his found family or whatever. Like I cannot speak highly enough of it ever. And I really, really appreciated that. Shaolin, okay, she I get her. Okay, so this is the one thing I did have an issue with. I think the part where Octavius, again, making up his name, I don't fucking know, the Avenger, what they're called.
Wait, but who? But who's Octavius though? Who are you talking about?
Okay, he's not an Avenger. Advent?
Oh, her boyfriend-ish person. Got it.
What are they called?
Carry on. I can't remember now.
Anyways, I thought that part felt a little bit flat because although I knew he wanted to change, again, making up a name, Victorious. What's the main bitch's name? The pretty one, the one with the she stole from.
Yasna.
Yasna. See, V and V. Although I understood that he wanted to like get to Yasna, I never really saw it enough in the like in their interactions he had with Shaolin. You know what I mean? So the part that did fall flat for me a little bit was when we figured out like, oh, the jam was the poison and the flower was antidote or whatever. And then Yasmin was just like, can't you see? He was like just coming to change me, to get to me. And like, I don't know if there wasn't enough there or like what that case was, but it just like, they poisoned, they figured it out, they moved on from that really quickly. But I'm just like, I mean, isn't that kind of vain of her to think that he was after her. Like, what if he wasn't? What if he was just really crazy? Like, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, and I guess that was like the only part I was just like, I don't know. Anyways, but that whole thing was like really interesting. Um, Again, Shaolin's visions and everything, like super interesting. Like, I think also like one of my favorite parts of the book is where she draws things and like she can see them around her, and I think that's absolutely crazy. It's like such a fun way to like tell that.
And how she doesn't know she
Um,
did it until afterwards, and it like
exactly.
frightens her. So
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
So cool.
I thought that was so cool. And I'm glad her and Yasna are kind of coming together again. I'm very concerned about the brother that was ripping off crab legs. I don't. We touched on it once. We haven't touched on it then.
Oh
I'm very
yeah.
concerned about that brother. Like,
Her
that scares
brother,
me.
right? That was
Her
that was that was
brother.
her brother.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, and then like the whole conflict of the two kings, or like, I don't know, Department of Defense and the president. I don't fucking know, the two guys that I'm talking about. I thought that was like really interesting. I'm so glad that his like, and I think also his relationships. I don't know his name. Again, I have no idea.
Dalinar?
Um,
Are you talking about Dalinar?
Dalinar. Yeah,
Okay.
Dalinar. I really enjoy Dalinar's storyline, like second to Colin's
Yeah.
Paladins, just because of like the way he's dealing with it, and then like his love interest and his son. Like, I love how his son's always supportive. Like, there's just like so much like good there, and like who he is. And I think him and Kaladin are very similar, and maybe that's why I like them so much. And like, to the effect of, they have a purpose, they don't know what it is, but they're like following their gut instinct, and they know it's going to end up okay. And I appreciate that in both of them. And I can't believe the guy left him there. I can believe it, to be completely honest with you, because that's the kind of fucking shit anybody would do in this case. But I don't know. I just like overall, like, I really love the book. Like, I have nothing but praise to say about it. I think it was long, but it was like well worth it. It was really long. I loved all the characters, and it just like continuously amazes me how Brandon Sanderson can come up with these characters and these long ass books, and every single one of them is just like knocks out of the park. Like, I just can't begin to like understand how that man has all of that in him. So, like, I want to hate a book. Like, I want to say like, oh no, this one actually fucking sucked. I didn't like it. Like, blah blah blah. But like, you just can't. You fucking can't.
I
And
think what's
that's what you
also
feel.
weird is like if you've watched any of his YouTube videos, he's also like a really like just normal seeming guy. Like you'd think someone with
Oh
this much
yeah, I've seen him
genius
on
would be like
TikTok.
a freaking like weirdo. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I don't know, like but he just like it seems like if you just met him you'd have no idea that he's probably like the best fantasy writer like
Yeah.
ever. Like I cuz I don't understand how you just keep doing this too. He's like
Right.
up there
Right.
with like Stephen King to horror and it he's incredible. I agree.
And that's all I have. That's all, folks.
Okay. Well done.
Sorry, it's probably so loud in the microphone. So sorry. So sorry.
Your turn, Manel.
Okay. I honestly feel like I just ran a marathon. It was that long. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's gonna end now. It's gonna end now. It did not end. And like we this is the third time we're talking about the book, right? In that time span, we could have finished like 4 books or 3 books
Yeah,
at
solidly.
least.
For sure.
As I was looking at my Goodreads, I'm like, I only read 6 books this month. That's weird.
Damn.
And then I was like, oh, well, no wonder. I could have read 9, but like this book is taking up so much time.
That's fancy
But I'm
pants
not mad
size.
at it. I'm not mad at it. Like, it was a good journey for sure. Like, it was, I don't know. Like, thinking back, like, if you really condense the story with everyone's characters, like, finally meeting at the end point, the plot was like very marginal, like very little, right? Like,
Hmm.
okay, Kaladin had this arc, but like at the end of the day, it was like not a big deal. Like, it wasn't very deep. It was like pretty mild, but it was just so rich. Like I did I say this before? Like a big chocolate fudge cake, right? That's what it felt like because it was just so in depth and rich. Like, it took 1,000 pages plus to kind of get to the point. But plot wise, I think that no, there was a plot for sure. There was a plot, but it wasn't like the main. I don't know. Was it like? I feel like the plot wasn't the main point of the story, if that makes sense. Like the
Yeah.
lore
I
was,
get.
the
I
characters
feel like,
were. Yeah,
yeah, like all of
Kind of like
like
a
this
kind of
book
like
was
a
the
TV show
ingredients, and then
is.
like we're gonna cook it, if that makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah,
Like we're
yeah,
yeah,
just
yeah,
building
yeah.
it
exactly.
up.
No, that's good.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Because
you're
like even
somehow
at
fine
the
with it. I'd be so mad at this if it were literally
right,
anyone else writing this. I'd be
Yeah.
angry.
exactly.
So angry. But I loved it.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah,
there's no.
same. Because even at the end of part two, like our part two, where we stopped at the second point, I had more questions than answers. Like I felt like the story was coming along, but at the same time, very little happened. But still, like
Mhm.
at the end, it made sense. And the final battle, that alone could have
Mhm.
been a book. Like that
Jeez,
entire
I
sequence of
know.
events was a
Mhm.
book in itself.
Mhm.
I was like, oh my gosh, this is just going and going, but it was so entertaining. Like that final boss level that we always talk about, where some
Mhm.
books just do not deliver. This definitely did deliver. Like, oh my gosh, the twists and turns where the bridge four was going to turn back and leave, and they had their freedom just inches away, but they were like, no, we're going to follow you, Kaladin, and do what you decide to do. And I was like, oh, men
I
don't follow
know.
like just principles to war. Like they follow other men to war, and that's like pretty cool. I love that so much. And Kaladin, he really did have his main character moment, and I'm like so happy for
Mhm.
him because I think he would be my second favorite character. I think Shalan is my favorite character. She's like so feisty and zesty, and I love her so much. Like she's the best. Um, so I was trying to pay attention to, you know, how at each chapter start there were like these little
Yeah. Oh
snippets of
my
like
gosh. I
weirdness.
know.
Like it made no sense. So like he did this in Miss Bond too, right? Like it made no sense whatsoever. And then like finally when we finished the entire series, like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Except
So I was like trying to,
this one, he's clearly effing with our minds even worse than Mistborn.
yeah, because like I'm
Whatever's
trying to
going
pay
on is like,
attention.
yeah, I don't even know.
No, I could not figure it out. And then finally at the end, we find out that, oh, these were the like visions of the dying. And I was like, oh, okay, now I just have more questions. Like, why is he killing these people? He's saying that
Mhm.
uh like the dying see like these visions before they pass on. I'm like, why are you doing it though? Like, what kind of message are you trying to find? So I need to read book two to find out like what this dude is up to. Poor Shazad though, the virtuous assassin, I suppose. He's like, oh no, I have another master and I gotta kill Dalana. So sad. I feel bad for the guy, but I think he's gonna turn and be good. So I'm hoping and rooting for that. What else? Uh, Dalana was pretty solid until the very end. He was all self-righteous and honorable, and I like how he kept his word to Kaladin. Like even at the end when he just gave away the sword, I was like, oh, that's cool. That is cool. That's pretty neat. And then when he started beating up the king, I was like, yes,
I
beat him up
know.
real
I
good.
know.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That made me so
It's
happy.
awesome.
So good. I for a while I thought, oh my gosh, was the king an imposter the whole time? Is that why he's
Yeah.
beating his? But I was like, no, okay, that was even better. Like you listen to me now. I am talking. So that was pretty cool. Oh, by the way, I'm courting your mom. That was so cool too.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Mhm.
yeah. As he like walks away, like what a thing to drop on
Yeah.
someone. Oh my god.
By the way, so good. Who was
Modern
the
day
other guy?
equivalent of,
Stan?
by the way, I'm banging your mom, and you just walk out of a
Yes.
room. Incredible. Incredible.
So good. Okay, so now the Pashendi are like the void bringers. Somehow they've turned into them. It was kind of weird though, like how we learned so very little about the Pashendi. It was a big chunky book, but like at the end of the day, like we got only snippets of the Pashendi, and then now towards the end, it's like, oh, the Pashendi were the void bringers after all. And you're like, oh, that's good. That's good. So now I'm more curious about the Pashendi and I need to know more because I was like, why are these guys fighting with them? Like, we know this war is happening and we were kind of dropped into the middle of it. Like, oh, these two parties are at war. That's all we knew, right? Like, we didn't know the origin of it really and like whatever. But now we're like, oh, okay. So we're going to learn more about it. Um, but I still want to know more about Sil. I don't think we got answers
Mm.
about Sil though. Like she's manifesting into a bigger sprint, but that was it.
Mhm.
Like we only got snippets of her also, so I need to know the full backstory about her. But we did hear more about other sprint. Like I think Shalan and
Yeah.
Yasna were talking about it, like a different version of it. So I need to know what these people are like. Are they like little fairies or like are they spirits or like familiars? Like what are they really? So yeah. I was also curious. Like, it feels like certain different segments of people have different powers. Like Dalina, he has the sharp blades and all of that, and then Kaladin, he has the storm stuff. Yasna and Shalan, they have the soul casting. It feels very segmented. So, like, can one person do all these things if they tried, or like, do you only have one particular power? So, need to know more about
And
that.
like, what happens when Kaladin wears shard armor? You know,
Yeah,
yeah, like I agree. I'm curious about all
yeah,
of that too. Or when
yeah,
when one of the girls picks up a shard blade, you know what I mean? Like yeah, I'm
yeah,
very
yeah.
curious.
So like, yeah, I want to know more about that too. But overall, like, how can you not give this 5 stars? Because like, it was tedious, but also good in a way. Like, yeah, like running a marathon if you enjoy it, that is. And so yeah, 5 stars.
Tight. Um, yeah, this book is incredible. Um, I'm like really surprised, but like most of my notes you guys like didn't touch on. Actually, that's not that surprising because this book is just so freaking huge. But I agree with basically everything you guys said. It's so good. My overall favorite character still is Shallan, even though we got less of her. But
Mm-hmm.
Kaladin's story was like absolutely beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I gave it was, and he's freaking awesome. And for the Bridge 4 team and like their growth and when they're and when they and man, whenever they're like around the fire and they're having stew, like I feel like I'm there. Like I can like feel the
Mm-hmm.
brotherhood that they have. So freaking cool. I've never like felt that kind of a thing from a book. I love that. Um, man, yeah, the fighting and the final battle really like multiple bits of fighting. That final battle was absolutely incredible. I couldn't
Mm-hmm.
believe how well written it was, and like it makes so many other ones seem kind of just like really bad in comparison. I think what most books tend to do, I think I remember Poppy War almost sort of tried to do what this book did,
Oh,
but I don't think they did a good job. But what most books do, I think especially uh, Sarah J. Mass, you know that the battle is between like thousands and thousands and thousands, but you always only feel like it's between like one or two people. Do you know what I mean? And it's
yeah.
kind of stupid in that way where like, but this with this book, it like during that whole time it kept going from big to large, and with the perspective changes and with like the strength of Dalinar and then like the weakness of Bridge 4 and like it was just I was blown away. Like I can't I that was the best battle scene that I've ever read, and I couldn't even believe how freaking good it was. Another one that was really good was this was a flashback when Kaladin took down his guy in the storm in the shard armor where he like stabbed him through the slit
Mhm.
in his eyes. Damn, that was a good one. Like totally different feel of like like the underdog taking on someone like David versus Goliath kind of a thing, and it felt different. It played out differently. This guy is just so freaking good at writing fights. It's very refreshing. I love it. And he better be because, like you said, that fight was so damn long. Can you imagine if it wasn't well written? But the whole time I was loving it. It was crazy. It was so cool. Let's see. Okay, I don't know if you guys are nerdy enough for this. Do you guys know about like quantum theory much? Superposition of quantum particles? Does that even make any? Okay, Julia, you're useless. I don't even know. I was mostly asking Manel if I'm being honest.
No, you're
Or
a liar if you say you do.
wait,
Come
what?
on, Sheldon. What do you fucking know about quantum physics and astroparticles?
A good amount. I watch like way too many YouTube videos about all of this stuff, like all the
To be
time.
fair, I believe you.
Yeah, I really do. Anyways, what's really crazy is do you remember that like we had this one weird little snippet of like this like couple that were like scientists that made a breakthrough about Spren? The way they were describing Spren about how when you measure it, it stays still, but if you're not measuring it, it's like moving around. That's how quantum particles behave. And the way he was describing it, there's no way it was like a mistake. I wonder if he's like almost trying to like relate their magic to where like it also exists here too. Like I don't really know, but that was really cool. Like that tripped me out. I don't know if it was just a nerdy detail for like people like me or if it actually means something, but
He wrote it just for you, Dan. He
that
said,
was a trip. That was really cool.
these
Just
sentences.
this guy's insane. Let me see what else is worth talking about. Yeah, the assassin is dope. His fight scenes, a whole other type of awesome.
Mm-hmm.
They remind me a lot of like what happened in Mistborn and like when Vin was just destroying people. That was so cool. There was this imagery at one point where like he jumped onto like I think like a plank of wood and he's like surfing it upwards as he's like killing people.
Yeah.
Man, what a that guy's a badass too. And I also hope that he ends up being like not so evil, or maybe he just stays evil, and the whole point was like you knew this was a bad guy, and then when you meet his boss and you're like, oh shit, this guy's like really a bad guy. You know what I mean? Like that. So that was kind of cool too. I'm like already afraid of that guy even though I don't know him.
As a
Uh
side note to that, who was their boss? That was the first thing in the book. And it's so far back I can't remember. But it was like six, it was like Knights of the Round Table, right? It was like six of them and he's the one that had to walk away. But they said we can't keep
oh
working for him
oh
anymore.
in the very beginning. Oh
In the
geez, I
very
barely remember
beginning.
that.
That
You're
was
right.
him. Remember? So that they talked about his boss and it was like eight
Oh
of them.
oh, you're saying
Remember? And they
the very beginning of the book has to do with this bad boss, the assassin's boss. They're like the same people,
I
or
think so.
You might be right. That was like you're right. That was too far ago, and I don't even remember the
Mhm.
intro. Like I just remember
Mhm.
the swords in the ground, and there was one sword missing. I think. Oh, maybe the
Yeah.
missing sword is the bad guy.
Yeah,
Mhm.
no.
Oh no, you don't think so?
The missing sword was the it was Zell,
Zell. Wait, who's
the
Zell?
assassin.
Oh, you think?
Really?
Yeah, and then when they went to the rock, they were if he didn't put his sword in or somebody was missing, somebody had to walk away, and then they wouldn't have to answer to him anymore. I
Hmm.
thought Zell and the intro were connected, but I could be wrong. We'd have to Google
Mm.
it.
I mean, I don't have anything to like argue against that. I don't really remember a connection there, but
Okay, okay.
could be, could be.
Sorry for interruption.
You're good. Let me see. And then a couple of like theory crafting crap I put. Oh, actually, hold on, man. I think my favorite part of the book was a Kaladin moment, and geez, when he leaps across the chasm and starts like absorbing
Mhm.
the spirit in midair, and then like comes down.
Mhm.
Holy crap, that was awesome! Like I think I like audibly was like fuck yeah, like I was so happy like that like something deep in me I was like dang that was freaking awesome. Anyway, so then some theory crafting. So first of all, in Tress of the Emerald Sea, when they mentioned someone was a Khandra, was Hoyd a Khandra, or was he talking about somebody else? Do you guys remember that?
Hyde is not a
He
Khandra.
is not a
No, it was
Khandra.
somebody else.
No.
It was
So
another
as he so
character.
so
No.
as Hoyd is traveling around, he's
Oh, I
maybe in
love Hoyt.
theory
I forgot
not
about it.
he maybe in theory he's not changing his appearance much. I was just kind of anyway
I
it's
think
not
Hoyt is Hoyt.
it's not that concerning, but like just him like more revealing himself and then doing one of his like weird story times just before everything goes to hell. That was dope. Um, the final yeah. When the final reveal of that of the guy with the super deep voice that Dalinar's been hearing in his voice in his head
Mhm.
being God, and then he said like I died to like odium. When I heard that, it felt really familiar. Do you guys remember odium being mentioned in Mistborn at the end at all, or am I tripping?
I don't remember.
No, I don't
Not
remember.
really. Okay, I could be wrong, but right when I heard that, I was like, wait a second. Okay. Anyways, and then uh uh oh yeah, and then the other thing too, because you have those things happening in the chapter breaks, you know, the and there's different forms of them, right? There was like that woman
Mhm.
speaking
Yeah.
at the end, and there's that scientist guy, and you know whatever. Um, do you remember at the end of Mistborn how like when we first kind of get like a snippet into like like some kind of like other universes happening because the chapter breaks there started sounding like they were like maybe like way in the future and they were starting to sound like more scientific and stuff. Like, do you think these are happening in the future? Do you think they're happening on another planet? Or do you think they're happening way in the past? Or have you guys like thought about this much?
It could be happening in the future. It felt very scientific. Like when he was shown into that room, it
Yeah.
felt very clinical. So, but that was the vibe I got. I could be wrong.
Yeah. I uh
Mm.
I'm my bet's either I like there was one point towards the end where I thought like wait a minute is this happening like in the past and they maybe lost this technology but like I don't think so. I think it's
Mm.
mostly either in the future or I did start thinking that maybe it's like on a whole other planet at one point, and they've like learned how to travel and stuff. Only just because either something in this story we're in right now, it's going to be so catastrophic that they like lose everything, or it leads me to think that it's more of like a different planet thing, because the way he's talking about it and describing things, it's like it's like he doesn't have like a basis in his own culture for what he's talking about. Like he's talking about it always in kind of like a foreign context, not like
Mm-hmm.
they themselves have the powers, but he's making like inferences about what they might have done. So it's either like so far in the future that they don't even know anymore, or maybe he's just not even connected. I don't even know, but I think that's really really cool, and I'm excited where that goes. Uh, Let me see. There was one more in here, but I lost. Ah, good enough. Book was incredible. Totally 5 star. This is this
Yeah.
is this is one of those ones that pisses me off for Goodreads not having. I need
Review.
10 points and I need decimals. I don't want half stars.
What would this
I
be?
want actual decimals. Well, just what I guess what I'm just saying is like this would be like an actual 10 or like a 9.9, but
Mm-hmm.
I'd still want the ability to give something like,
Yeah.
Throne of Glass a 9.1. But right now I can only just give them both fives, but that feels like, now that I've read this, that just feels false. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I wish we could delineate more, but yeah, this book was incredible. Absolutely incredible. Um, okay. I have a Oh wait, anything else about the book?
No, I have
I think we're good.
housekeeping.
I also have
Yeah, okay.
housekeeping. Bye YouTube. You don't get to hear your
Bye,
housekeeping. You guys
YouTube.
suck.
All right.